Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and we've got an unbox and review for you today. We're going to be looking at Forge World's new Wilhelm Chaney star player model. So this model is available on Forge World at the moment for £19. So when you put in postage, it's going to be what, £21, £22. Now it comes in a clamshell packet, and on the back of the packet you've got the instructions there. Now this model comes in 9 separate pieces, and you are going to need those instructions. It's a resin model, so you're going to need super glue, and when it comes to prepping a resin model, you want to take the flash off and give it a good bath in a little bit of soapy hot water. Probably best to say warm water. Hot water might, kind of wreck it a little bit. So just lukewarm water, a bit of soap, give it a bit of a wash, give it a bit of a brush, gets the mold release off it. This has got small pieces and you don't want them to be oily, and you really want it to glue first time. So dry fit, clean it. This is going to be a little bit more complicated to build than your standard model. So tell you what, let's have a look at the model. So as we look at the pieces here, I thought we'd just have a look at the instructions first. There's quite a lot of individual bits and bobs here, which kind of befits a necromantic undead player. If you built either of those teams, you know kind of what we're in for. 9 individual pieces make up Wilhelm Chaney, and it looks like 1, 2, 3 go first, and then the rest go in one big go. You got to be careful. Some of these star players have a specific order you have to build them in, so very much recommend looking at the instructions, which is unusual, I know, but anyway, we can get rid of that for a second and have a look at the pieces that we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got these 2 little pieces here. I'm not entirely sure what they are. I think they're just bits of cloth or shoulder pads or something, but there's a couple of those different things. They remind me of the wings for the undead blitzers, although I think they are actually a little bit bigger, and you've got the tail there as well. So as is standard for Forge World, it's made with quite a soft resin, so when you're getting your clippers on the go and clipping things out, you will be able to kind of smooth over some of the tab elements. So where the flash goes, where the actual casting mounts go, you will be able to use your blade to smooth it down to get a decent fit. Now it's so important that you dry fit these models, especially when there's lots of different pieces, so got to bear that in mind. However, look at the casting quality. The resin is beautifully cast. We've got crisp details everywhere. Now there's definitely some flash in places on different parts of this model, and I imagine that even though I've washed it all down and tried my hardest to remove some of the flash, that we are going to find some as we go. But hopefully you can see from the video there that the detail is crisply cast, and after we build this model, because there's not a lot, because it's in so many few pieces, it's going to be very difficult to show you the detail until we built it. So I tell you what, let's pause this now and go build the model. So normally I do the time-lapse videos for this, and even though I built it on camera, I forgot to press record, which is embarrassing. However, it was a pretty fiddly model to put together, and actually I think I'm a little bit glad, because it was a bit embarrassing, because I did actually glue it a little piece to my hand at one point, and also to my mat, which I'm terribly glad wasn't caught on camera. Anyway, the model itself, it goes together in a reasonably logical way. Some of it is a bit fiddly, and you've got to make sure that you do clean up the resin, because the touch points in some of these pieces are very, very small. Now the tabs that are built on there in some of them are really good. So I was a bit worried about this piece here, the wings for his shoulder pad, I guess, actually with a bit of glue on slid in straight away, and actually just took a little bit of pressure. Now this is resin, so super glue is the only way to do this, I think. You can't do it with plastic glue. There may be some other glue that you fancy doing, but I'm a big fan of random super glue from whatever shop I go to, or in this case the super glue Tiff got me. So size wise, this is the most important thing, and I will go and grab a werewolf in a second, but for now we've got a nobility blitzer. So if we line them up, now this is based on a Games Workshop 32 that comes with the model. He's got a pretty decent height element to him. Now this is really nice to see. Some of the other Forge World models have been a bit small. I know some of you out there were like, I'm not going to order it until Ben's done a review, because so I can get to grips with the size comparison. Now Wilhelm Chaney is a strength 4 piece, so let's have a look at him compared to a golem. I will go and get a werewolf in a second. So is he bigger than a golem from a mass point of view? You know what, he's probably about the same size, the same mass. He's got a good bit of height to him, which is very nice. He looks sporty, as in he looks kind of active, which is cool. But looking at the size, he's actually got a good bit of mass. Right, let me cut this here and I'll go grab a werewolf. So this is the model I should have had ready to go at the beginning of this. And let's compare size. So Wilhelm Chaney versus a werewolf. This is what you want to go. So this guy is obviously posed at a very jaunty angle. So if you stand him up next to each other, Wilhelm's got head and shoulders above him. So let's compare werewolf length. That's an interesting angle to take. Wilhelm is just about as long as the dude, as the standard werewolf model, but if you look at the mass, he has got significant more mass to him. So if you put them down together, you can see that actually you've got height there from Wilhelm, and you've got, there's an element of broadness to him as well. It's a strength 4-star player, and actually he does represent that really well. So if you were to line them up, this guy does look significantly bigger and significantly better actually than the standard werewolf. So detail wise on this model, I mean, we had a look kind of at the individual pieces, but there's a ton on there to paint. So if you like painting a model, if you like detail, there's there. But the beautiful thing about werewolves is you don't need to go to town. So if you're a casual painter, it's not going to take long to paint up this model. But if you like picking out the rivets and the stripes and the battle damage, then actually you can have a great time with it. The pose is a little bit weird, but actually what it does is it manages to contain a lot of mass and a lot of dynamism into just that cylinder of the square of the model, just within its base. So if you look top down, basically everything that's going on there stays within its square, which is very important for Blood Bowl. But I mean, you've got the shoulder pad detail, you've got a skull there, you've got the ball, you've got him playing catch, which is appropriate, as you know, makes sense for this guy. So you've got a ton of detail on there as well. It is a really good model. I am impressed. I was worried about the size, but actually he's as big as a golem. Well, you know what? It kind of feels Space Marine sized, which is about where you want a strength 4 player to be. What else can we compare him to? We've got, should we compare you to a Summers Black Orc? You can see that actually mass wise the Black Orc's got a bit on him, but Wilhelm, as far as it goes, is good enough to be a representative of strength 4. And there you have it. So we've got Wilhelm Chaney built up. I am a big fan of this one, actually. I was worried when we saw the Frankenstein model. I was worried about the size. A scroll was really small as well. This dude is about the same size as Space Marine. He's got that broadness to it. It's got that thickness to it, which is really useful. So actually, size-wise, passes. Detail-wise, definitely passes. There's a few gaps you'll have to fill. It depends on what kind of modeler you are. I am probably not too fussed. I think it's probably fine. I think the priming and the undercoat will probably just take it up. I'm not too worried about that. If you are a pro painter, this is a resin model, so you are going to spend a little bit more time having to prep it up. I think 32mm base works fine for this guy. The pose, whether you like it or not, is quite dynamic, and more importantly is kind of contained within its base, which is very useful for Blood Bowl. Now there are some other very cool werewolf models out there, and they perhaps are not quite so stringent in staying within their base. But I mean, the most important thing is he looks different to the standard werewolf. He looks bigger than the standard werewolf, and at £19 it's not too bad. If there's some very cool third-party ones out there that I will not fault you for, but actually if you want them to fit aesthetically wise with the rest of your team, then Wilhelm Chaney here is a great model. And as far as undead go, this is probably the best star you have access to. So if you can't find a werewolf model you really like, this one is really good. So I'm impressed. Gets a bit of a thumbs up here. Good job, Forge World. That's another great star player from them. Anyway guys, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.